deference to the individuals who have to travel quite a distance, we're just going to take one quick item. And that is, we're going to go, instead of public comment first, we're going to go to senior center. The kickoff on the beginning of some work that they have a walking club and other things. And so you're here, Betty Jo, so I'll say,
Yes,
the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. So, as you know very well, the senior center, it has a problem in the dining room with acoustics. That's
Oh, yes.
almost impossible to hear in there. So we've been working for about a year now to try to find some vendors to help us fix the problem. And we were able to get 2 vendors to give us quotes. Since it is a specialized thing, we weren't able to get a lot of them. They didn't want to come to Barre. So we did get 2 quotes. And Dave Flick, who is the chair of the board, is here. We met with them and we went through the whole process of what was going to happen. And the proposal is to take a piece of foam like this in 2-foot by 4-foot pieces, and there's 48 of them, and they're going to glue them to the ceiling. And so what I'm asking for is for permission for them to be able to glue them to the ceiling.
Did you go and see any places where they had installed this material?
I've been to lots of places where they've installed
One
it.
place, I don't know if it's the same thing, but the Quabbin Regional Administrative Building had the same problem,
Yes.
and they have, it's blue,
Yeah.
but.
It's gonna be white, so it's gonna be match the
Oh,
ceiling
perfect.
exactly, so it's
Perfect.
gonna, so you're not even gonna really notice it, but we just need permission to glue these to the ceiling.
What's the existing ceiling?
It's
Is it
a sheet
drywall,
rock,
yeah.
It is drywall.
Yeah, just-
All right, and is the mastic they're gonna use fire safe? Because mastic burns very quickly, it's a fire issue, so
Yes, so
the
this
fire
is
chief should
all-
be involved and the building commissioner should be involved to make sure we're not creating a fire hazard in the building by adding that product, whatever that product's made out of, petroleum-based product with the mastic. We need to be careful about those things. We've all seen bars and stuff burn and burn very quickly. So I would just caution that the fire chief and the building commissioner give their blessing, so we're not creating a situation for our seniors should a fire occur down there.
And the cost and the money comes from?
From the building account that the senior center has.
Great.
So there's no expense to the town.
Excellent.
So,
But I agree wholeheartedly with Richard's recommendations relative to fire, and I know that the chief has a good background in
He does, yep.
doing that kind of inspection,
Good.
so he will be really very helpful. And I would request that he provide in writing that it has met the requirements as he understands them from the state. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree, yeah, just on the product that's made out of, and then whatever the adhesion is to adhere to the,
As I recall, the product has fire
yes,
retardant.
yes.
good. Good.
But certainly need the adhesive, and then I think as a standard operating procedure that we speak to both that fire department and usually the building inspector as well?
The
Well,
building
it's-
commissioner.
Building.
It may
commissioner.
require a permit, honestly, depending on, we would accept the permit, but it may
which is-
require a permit.
Okay.
Which is not a big deal, but.
Yep.
An inspection by her, the building commissioner, to make sure that it's installed properly, and not a safety hazard for anybody.
Yep.
Richard, could I ask for a motion, please?
Yep, I make a motion, did we pick when are we going with, actually, sorry?
It's DDS acoustical.
Okay.
All right, I make a motion that we approve DDS acoustical specialties to affix the foam reverberation material and adhesion material to the senior center ceiling at a cost of $6,345, and that the fire chief and the building commissioner be consulted in regards to the material and any other permits that may be required.
I would second that motion. Further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Great job.
So much.
Okay, do you want
Thank
to
you.
talk about silver sneakers and walking or
Oh, I
something?
can tell you about that. For our seniors, we decided to keep them moving for the winter. So we are walking to Los Angeles, and that kicked off today. We have over 40 seniors participating, so I'm hoping that we'll get there by the end of March.
Wow.
So they have pedometers, they're tracking their miles, we have a kickoff today. 2 people from Building, Sandy and Andrea from this building are participating
Good.
as well, so we got good participation, and so watch out for us on our Facebook page, because we're moving, we're on the move, we're on the move.
But when Uptown is free of snow, it's a great place to walk.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, yep. And we have the walking paths, so you
Yep.
can still join if you want, so you're still welcome to come to the senior center, we'll give you a pedometer. And we do have walking routes at the senior center, so people were walking there all day
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
On the inside, so we have walking, just like the mall, you go in and you walk a path, so we have the same thing on the inside to the senior center too.
Great,
So
great.
we're excited,
Great.
yeah,
Very nice.
Two exciting things, and thank you for coming, and
Okay.
safely drive home.
thank you very much, thank you.
Glad to see that acoustic getting fixed down there. It's been a
Oh,
problem for a long
Yeah,
time.
so now everyone can use the building.
Okay, moving along, I'm going to go back to public comment, where we are having a special guest here tonight, which is Liz Martin, who has asked to be heard on the matter of battery energy storage systems issues. And what, I don't know what exactly sure her comments will be, but she has the floor. Liz,
Thank you.
if you'd like to come up, or,
I can talk from here.
okay, I didn't know if you have people behind you that might be able to hear you better if you,
I'll talk loud.
you're all set? Okay.
I'm here because I'm concerned about what's gonna happen to that property on Wauwinet Road that's owned by Eastview, Hardwick and Henry Houtner. A lot of other people are concerned about that too, and some of them are here.
Mhm.
We would like to know whether the select board is prepared to exercise the right of first refusal if and when that property comes out of 61A. Some people have suggested forming a citizens committee to do some research about that. We understand the respective responsibilities of the various town boards. We know what you guys have to do, we know what the planning board has to do. We feel that the right of dozens of Barre citizens who in good faith bought homes in a residentially zoned area to peace and safety in their homes is more important than the opportunity of a few people who don't even live here to make some money. We're very concerned about the dramatic loss of property value that must result if a large, noisy, potentially dangerous industrial facility is located next to people's houses. Worse still, that devaluation would have a knock-on effect for the whole of Barre, making Barre a less attractive town to live in and damaging our tax base. The location is only about half a mile as the crow flies from the high school, which is another red flag for home buyers. We would like the select board to be ready with an agreement with one of the land trusts if or when this property comes out of 61A. Please tell us whether you agree. If you think it's a good idea to change this land use to an industrial use, please explain to us how that would benefit the town. So it's really a question, it's not a statement of, the concern is that if the property comes out of 61A, you have a certain amount of time to respond to that, and it will take a certain amount of time to negotiate an arrangement with someone. I learned today that it's applied for 61A again for this year, but that the assessors may have some questions about that because of the application to change the use.
Well, certainly, we have had conversations with the attorneys that would be representing the town should we pursue any different action. Currently, we're sort of sitting and waiting to see what is going to be specifically, what's the Attorney General going to do with the efforts that I think the planning board put a very rigorous and restrictive, information that says you can't do this, you can't do this, prohibits a quick, easy person or group coming in here and doing anything with their property or any other property. So as far as the right of first refusal, we have not had a lot of conversations about that, and Rich, maybe you've had some others that I'm not aware of, but we understand our ability to look at that. We know that putting more land in 61A, or keeping more land in 61A is something that the town has consistently done. And we're just sort of sitting and waiting for the opportunity to act should it come. To sit around and say, or make a deal with one of the land trusts before we know whether the property is going to come out of 61A, or whether we would do something else which would prohibit a BESS, but would do something else with the property from our, from the town's perspective. We haven't really examined any of that. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've already gone on the record publicly at a planning board hearing at the library that I'm opposed to the project. I've already said that publicly. We certainly will look at that aspect a little bit more in depth when we hear from the assessors, or when we hear that that potentially is gonna be a reality. It's gonna be pulled because the application may not be valid. As Liz, you mentioned, maybe it isn't. We don't know, right? The assessors are gonna look into that application that was submitted in September. Is that correct?
October,
Okay.
and so far remains in 61A today.
Right.
And they're seeking another year of
Yes, they are.
61A, so.
Right, and in itself, just applying for a preliminary subdivision may or may not trigger us to look at that. I mean, it could or it couldn't, and being a large landowner, I could put in a preliminary subdivision and set my grandkids up very well if the zoning should change down the road, like, and you're gonna take my land away? I don't know, maybe. So, I don't look at that as a trigger yet, but the application certainly could be an issue with the assessors, and hopefully they report to us about that. But as far as the project goes, I'm not supporting that type of project on that property. And honestly, as a town, I think that we should be looking towards maybe a moratorium on these type of projects, maybe for a 3-5 year moratorium, until we can get ourselves in a better position to govern and evaluate where these properties, or what might be the appropriate places, if any, in the town of Barre for this type of activity. So I'm kind of leaning towards we should be thinking about maybe a moratorium right away.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Good idea.
But at any rate, I think the board has been pretty specific about the fact that we do not support this project on that property.
I agree.
Okay, that's what we
Very
wanted to
clear.
do.
I agree.
And, but I was saying to you tonight, this will trigger us to do X, which would be, to do first refusal and purchase the property, or work in concert with another land trust to make that happen. Obviously, we have not pursued that specifically. Buddying up to either Mount Ida or East Quabbin Land Trust and so forth, before we really know what we have, what opportunities we will have ahead of us, and what they will potentially do with the property. The concern that has been brought to our attention in past is how much land we're putting in land trust. I mean, people say we have an open space issue. Well, we've got a lot of open space, and more of it coming every year, because there are people who are putting hundreds and hundreds of acres into land trusts. And we had the very large one up off Pleasant Street and going toward 122, a very large parcel of property. And before that, we had another parcel of property up on 62, which went into a land trust. We have another land trust seeking to try to do something so that we have more access to rail trail property down in Barre Plains, which is a small kind of specific project, which I think is a little easier to grapple with. But there are people who come here to us and say, what are you doing? You put more than 1,000 acres in 61A. The state says, we've got 28% of your property that's in open space. So people are concerned that the individual taxpayer, you, me, okay, everything that's in 61A is limited on any help with your tax bill. I certainly hear a lot of complaints, believe me, about your tax bill. And so our concern just is, we wanna make sure whatever we decide keeps the battery energy storage system out, but does not take and make decisions about a land situation that would in some way limit, for example, perhaps a different use that has to do with maybe some housing that would continue to add to the tax base. So we're trying to balance all of that. Because I would tell you, there are, and you just said, I'll take care of my family, put it in land trust, and you can say, it's on land trust in 61A, except I'm gonna carve out this little LLC for Susie Jones, who's my grandson, or granddaughter, and et cetera, et cetera. You know, people don't understand that it's not exactly, the land is gonna go to this nice big agricultural center, and we're gonna be growing fruits and vegetables. Doesn't necessarily mean that. Liz, I'm gonna go back to you and then recognize some of the other folks.
I think it's not that we really want this land to be given to a land trust. It would be better if the town could buy it, but we feel that the town probably is not in a position to buy it, and that almost anything's better than turning that into an industrial area. I mean, if, we may need more industrial area, but that would be a crazy way to start rezoning by dropping stuff randomly in the middle of farm
Right.
fields. That's, yeah.
Mr. Kane?
I'd just like to explain a few things about the 900 acres up off of Pleasant Street. Most of the property is privately owned, and what the state holds is conservation restrictions on it. So they're still paying tax on all that property. I've been kind of close to that situation for a long, long time. And of course, like Liz just said, we don't have the money. So to follow up on the open space plan goals that were done by survey across the whole town, this is a possibility to make that work. And I've seen it done many times, and it could also help us meet our goals with the open space plan obligations, which we're lacking now, or behind on it actually, because yearly progress is supposed to be reported. And I haven't been able to do that as the open space committee because I've got nothing to go on. So rolling all that into this situation to preserve that land is a positive step with the position we're in. And you know, when you spoke of all the land owned by the land groups, well, that's not necessarily the thing across the board. The fact is they hold conservation restrictions on it, which of course they generated some revenue from the state for holding those and preserving the property.
You understand very little. The pilot program in Massachusetts is best, at best, awful to communities, awful.
Pilot programs too?
Well, payment in lieu of taxes.
Okay.
The land that the MDC owns for the watershed area for the Ware River and for the Quabbin Aqueduct, about 27% of our property is tied up with that. And they don't even want you to walk on the property. It gets more and more restrictive. Then we have some situations, like you say, up in the area where we have the Audubon, took a chunk of land. The Audubon owns a huge sanctuary up off on Old Stage Road.
Yeah,
Okay, then the.
for over 30 years now.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's that long. No, it was after the Pattersons passed away, and they're.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Patterson.
Okay, and then, in addition to that, you have the Insight Meditation Program, that every wick of the land that has been available up in that area has been bought by them. And they have put on every tree, wildlife sanctuary, whatever that means. Okay, so that land is very restricted, very open. I mean, and I think, when I'm ready to sell my house, they'll buy that too. They buy everything in that area, everything that's for sale. So they are, and they're looking to expand, I think, a considerable amount of, number of dormitories and so forth. And they're a wonderful business, and they're wonderful neighbors, don't get me wrong.
Right.
My concern just is that when you look at, open space and you begin to plot out, what do we have, where do we have open space and what do we do with it?
It's all in the open space plan.
Yeah, but I mean,
There's a new map that the Open Space Committee,
360 pages.
yeah,
That's where that map came from.
yeah, there's a brand new one that they're talking about Wednesday night. I believe they have a meeting again here in this room, but there's a new map that's been developed that's pretty telltale about who owns what in the town of Barre.
yeah.
And so,
Kind of
open space,
Master plan effort?
yeah, I'm sorry, master plan, sorry, master
Okay.
plan committee, yep.
So at any rate, I don't think there's anybody on the, including, you know, speaking a little bit from Mark and conversations we've had as a board, we're not sitting in here saying, as things get obvious that this land is gonna be for sale and there's, we will act. But to sit here and say, this is what we'll do, not knowing all the specifics of
Right.
what may happen, would probably be less than prudent. So we get it, we do not want to have our community the receptacle of just a bunch of junk that everybody else needs. I do believe, from what I understand, and maybe, the people from planning know more about this, but the real land they want is Oaken. It's more compatible with what they're trying to do. But that doesn't mean they will stop if they don't get Oaken, that they won't come here, but.
Yeah, I disagree, because we already got a lawyer down here from them. But if you don't mind, to meet the goals that we all just spoke about, my wife and I have been working on a process that we're familiar with, that's worked in other situations for land conservation. And I'd just like to leave that with the board. The folks that would like a copy here can have them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Very kind of you.
Could you just
Thank you.
indicate your name and so forth, so we can just have the, on the record?
My name is Martha Petrovic. I live on
Thank
Grove
you.
Road, and our land abuts the
Thank you.
property on
That's
Wauwinet.
true
And
for
you
you,
answered my
for
question
sure.
during your discussion. I just wanted to get back to Liz's original question. In order for
Two or
this
three.
particular
That's true, too.
facility from being installed, could we get your agreement that one of the ways to do that is to take the option to keep it at 61A? We just wondered if you would support that action, and
Well, it
not
hasn't
on
come to
all,
us
just
yet.
on this
I'm sorry.
property, prevent that battery facility from moving.
It hasn't officially come to us yet.
I'm sorry?
It has not officially come to us yet, so
I
that
know
would
that.
come from the assessors or whatever, saying, hey, this 61A parcel is gonna be taken out. Selectmen, what do you wanna do? So,
So we knew that, we were
Yeah.
just asking what your position to, when that, if that comes about, what your position will be on it. And I think you answered that. Like, if you had to do that to keep it from going to a battery facility, you'd be willing to.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for, is like
Yep.
a summary of that.
The thing that is always worrisome to me is people lie. And people will say, we're gonna take this out of 61A because we really want it for blah. And then 6 months down the road, it's not blah, it's something else. That's what I worry about, is, for everybody, we say, oh, no, they're not gonna do that, they're going to make a small development and blah, 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 And then they go to the planning board and they have the right to make adjustments in how they're gonna use the property. And there'll be people who say, well, we don't mind more housing, and that's okay, well, let's do it with that. Other people say, we don't want that either, we want it just to be the way it is for the next, gazillion years. So my concern just is to understand, until we have the specific stuff to act on, you're asking us to say, would you ever let it come out of 61A? I don't know.
I don't think that was our question.
Oh.
I think our question is, if they intend to put a battery facility on that property, would you?
Yes,
Would
absolutely.
you exercise your right?
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
yes.
That was the real
Yes.
question.
right, and she said it earlier, so,
She
yeah,
did,
yeah.
she did once, but
Yeah,
then
Dr.
we went
Marshall
off
said
the
it
topic,
earlier.
and
Oh,
then
I
she came back,
I
just
thought
wanted
you
to
were,
clarify that
you
that
were
was what
holding
she
us
said.
to the fact that if it came out of 61A for another use that wasn't a battery park, that we would, without knowing what that is, we would say tonight, nope, we'll never let it out of 61A.
Right,
Okay,
and it could remain in agriculture for the next 15 years, like,
Yeah.
we don't know. We don't know. You could still hay it and farm it, and
It
who
just may
knows?
be the only opportunity to prevent that battery park from going in.
Agreed.
Maybe.
Agreed, because the bylaw is, that project, well, we don't have an application yet, right, Floyd? Like, all you have is the preliminary subdivision, so that's all your board could focus on, correct?
Yes.
So, until we have an application, there's gonna be a battery energy storage facility, right? The bylaw that you wrote is for future, right?
Yes.
No, it doesn't apply to this property because when they pulled their initial application.
That's what I'm trying to get the answer, and he's answering it, thank you.
Yes, the application froze all applicable uses at the time the application was issued.
Thank you.
So irregardless of what, if the AG even approves our battery storage bylaw,
it won't come.
this project would be exempt.
Okay,
And the AG from the state, or the whoever's, the siting authority, they might say that battery storage over a certain production level is outside the jurisdiction of the town.
Mhm. Do you think that is as real as it appears to be politically? that the state is going to indicate that, hey, we are putting this?
I think, yes.
I mean, when I look at a problem, I try to control as much as is reasonably controllable. And right now, we have somebody that's demonstrated an intent to build a battery energy storage facility. So, moving ahead, they don't have to apply to our regulations, even if the AG does approve them. And then they could change it down the road, and they could remove our authority to even apply the bylaw that they do approve. So right now, our only option with certainty is to proceed with the 61A. And to get back to the various alternatives that they would have to develop this property, an alternative being a subdevelopment for residential use, in my mind, is still not a financial benefit to the town. And this isn't for family use, and this would be contrary to the contract signed for 61A. So we're not disenfranchising anybody by acting on the contract that had been signed by a for-profit individual. So if the town is gonna lose money if a battery energy storage facility goes in, because we're not gonna receive any sort of tax revenue from the battery storage, and the individuals that own property around there should be paying less property taxes because of the liability and the resale value. Not only are we not receiving money, but we could be receiving less money from the depreciation of the individuals around there, not to mention that we're destroying their property to some degree that they're not getting what they thought they were buying. And then, so if he proceeds and they put a residential development in, police, fire, EMS, school is an additional drain, and the $5,000–6,000 a year that they're gonna be paying in property taxes doesn't even pay for property maintenance in front of their house. It doesn't pay for putting that kid through school. So, to say that we're losing money by putting this into some sort of conservation, we're not losing money, we're just not making money. But if they go into residential, we would be losing money. So it's just one of those that no matter which way this proceeds, it is gonna be at the financial liability of the town. And if we don't proceed, I think they have 7 months before they have to bring their final subdevelopment plan. So they're still proposing that 3-unit subdevelopment. So if we approve that, and they sit on it for 2, 3, 4 years, and they let their 61A lapse the next year, then we could just get caught off guard where this just goes to sleep for a while, then all of a sudden, they come in year 5 with the battery storage, they still have the exemption, we've lost our right of first refusal. So I'm just trying to figure out what benefit to the town, the taxpayers, our budget, is there for not pursuing the 61A? And I think in general, in order to fully understand this, my recommendation would be that the select board agrees to allow a committee to be formed to start talking with Mount Grace East Quabbin Land Trust, to start looking at possibilities, because even though this may be managed through a land trust organization, it doesn't mean that this property has to come off the tax rolls. So they could purchase the property, remove the development rights, and then sell that property back to an individual.
Right.
And that individual still be paying taxes, but the town, or the land trust, could have the ability to put some sort of stipulations on the property for use. And that would offer the town the greatest amount of control. And again, this is a contract. People make it sound like we're taking this land. If we do, we are enacting on a contract that has been signed. We are offering them fair market value for the property.
What's your guess on fair market value?
I wouldn't even begin to guess, but I know people that have bought, 30 acres for 100,000. This is 140 acres, 200,000–300,000 maybe. And granted, a lot of this is backland. So backland has a lower value. A lot of it is wetlands that nobody could develop,
Yeah.
so that depreciates the value. So and it's one of those too that this isn't. This is where a committee would do this more justice, to be able to work with a land trust to be able to get these answers. But I think it's gonna be far less in the end than we could pay for a lawyer to fight something that we all agree we don't want. And again, it allows us to maintain control of the narrative moving forward, as opposed to just sitting back hoping and waiting.
Thanks very much. Liz?
The tax card on this property says, total appraised parcel value is $268,000.
Mhm.
So that's not the millions of dollars people were throwing around.
Oh, I know, I would not have thought that. There would be millions of dollars.
Probably pennies on 1,000 on the tax rate, if the town bought it. Per household.
Of course, it would certainly not be under 2.5, so let me just tell you.
Right,
We
right.
would be
Right.
heading to the town meetings and hoping to fans in the air for an exclusion from 2.5 if we want to buy it.
Right.
So Maureen, when you refer to the site, energy facility siting board, do you think that if they build it in Ocam, that they would not put another one here?
I have no idea,
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
I
right.
have no idea.
No, we're-
All I know is that from conversations, with the Division of Local Services individuals, that are kind of headed on the Governor's Council, which Ann Goby, okay, is the Director of Rural Affairs. I would just indicate that there's lots of, we're not sure about that, we don't know about that. When you say, are you guys just gonna come in ultimately and say, we want it, we need it, we're green Massachusetts, and to be green, we need these storage facilities. I'm just fantasizing. I think that, certainly our guy from the planning board makes some very good points, and I don't think any of us are just ignoring it. We're just saying that, when do we strike? And I think we're gonna have to go to town meeting to get approval. Whereas we would, for example, I would recommend that the selectmen not act without having approval from town meeting to say, yeah, we're gonna put this in 61A and we are going to move forward, town meeting approval.
But I just read that the warrant is, for town meeting's gonna open like next week and close.
No, maybe we've.
It's on our agenda.
Yeah,
to
but the
open.
one for an annual town meeting, you can open and close a warrant and call a town meeting within a 2 or 3 week period.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can be for one item, it can be for one
Right,
issue.
special town meeting.
If we do a special. So, it's just that we wanna make sure that whatever direction we go in, we don't do something that over time, people will say, oh, why did you do that? I love Floyd's perspective, he's obviously is well schooled in what we might be able to do. I disagree with him about some things when he talks about, children in schools and how much, they take from our, livelihoods. I think it's important to have children in the community, I think it's important to educate them. As you know, I think that, but anyway, that being said, this is an entirely different situation where we're trying to keep out of our community this storage system that we don't want. And it doesn't, what I don't wanna do is to say, have the selectmen say, we're gonna do X and we're gonna do Y and we're gonna do it tomorrow morning. I think I agree with you, if we put together a small community group to sort of look into this and have some planning board, select board people as well as
Conservation.
citizens.
Conservation, planning board,
You know,
key people.
Yeah, key people that could be very quick to make a decision within a several week period.
One concern would be that since we're gonna be involved in any permitting process, that the conservation and planning shouldn't have members on the committee, because I wouldn't want that to be a possible conflict moving forward.
Understood?
And I think that the select board, if you would appoint a committee and solicit volunteers, because I think there is a lot that we haven't been through. I don't think the town, in my recollection, has ever acquired property through the 61A, let alone in this circumstance.
Not my 60 years.
Yeah, so I think that a committee would be, beneficial for the select board, conservation planning, everybody involved, just to talk with them, talk with other land trust organizations and possible, if any legal counsel through those organizations, so that we can all have a better understanding of the timelines, the cost, because once this process does start, the clock is ticking and the timelines are tight.
And the concern that I always have is money, okay? And I only say that because we may find it prudent to set ourselves up where we would be willing to spend X number of dollars, whatever, and, you know, we'll probably borrow the money, just like if we were doing something else. But that we're ready, that we're not sitting there when it's
Right.
all
We
happening.
can meet the
and then we say,
timeline.
okay, now let's go to the town meeting, let's do this, let's be ready. Let's understand that we would go to the town votes yes, and that we would know that this would be something that, like a home, maybe if we had to, we borrow money to pay for it. Because it will be very difficult for us to get it out of the individual budget that we might be in the midst of. Very difficult. And I would tell you, there's not a lot of free cash. There's not a lot of, you know, maybe there's $800,000 in stabilization, but that's not a lot of money, when you have to spend $400,000 for an ambulance. I mean, it's kinda crazy now. So, at any rate, I concur with your comments about, you know, getting that, sort of, that individual group together and, putting together the idea. And maybe we would have people like yourself come and have conversations with us, and land trust folks as well. But I always say, I think that the land trust people are more involved in a more grandiose idea about what their mission is, versus, yeah, we can help out Barre, but we really want more land in 61A. So, we would have to, I know there's several different land trust areas, groups that work in our area, so we can certainly find out which ones would work best with us.
Right, I think the benefit of the land trust is they know where the money lies.
Yeah.
So when a property comes up, they're the ones that do the immediate assessment to see what kind of connectivity there is. And there's Moose Brook there, so they might be able to get money from Fish and Game.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just because we're transferring our right of first refusal to one of these land trusts doesn't mean that we would lose control over the path of the property. And again, they could remove the development right, keep it on the tax rolls, and then sell that property back to any individual that would use the property
For
that use. I think the Patterson's property might be a good example for that.
Yeah.
I believe that's still
Yeah.
on tax rolls.
Yeah.
It's for agricultural use only.
Yeah.
But again, this is time sensitive, and so, you know, I appreciate your support for setting up the committee so that we can all gain more information to be more prepared if that timeline should arise.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions or concerns or comments they'd like to share with us? Seeing none? Okay, I knew I couldn't have the new year without it. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to wish everybody a very happy New
Thank you,
Year.
Steve.
Maybe you all
Happy New
have
Year,
done
sir.
it- Maybe you all have done it before, but my question is for the not the water department, the health department. I don't know if that was discussed before I came, but I understood that there's some stipulations that the health department should insist on in regards to properties that might affect water usage or water availability. And did you all discuss that?
It's not on the agenda
Not
tonight,
on
Sam,
the
so we're kinda in the dark about what you're asking or talking about.
I thought we're talking about that property,
The battery energy storage potential site on Wauwinet, yep.
yeah, but isn't that,
So the Board of Health has the right to make reasonable health regulations, and they did adopt 2 reasonable health regulations recently, within the last couple of months.
or can
To-
we talk about that, or because it's not agenda?
It's not on the agenda, and it's really a Board of Health matter, but they did enact on 2 regulations to try to get ahead of this as well.
Do you want to put the health department on the agenda for another meeting? I thought they were,
Well, I think what we can do, I think that I don't, Rich and I tonight, and Mark, he's out plowing roads, as you know, but, I think that we would obviously wanna take action on the creation of such a group and, begin to make, assignments.
Not tonight, though.
No, it's not on the
Yeah.
agenda, so we
I
can't.
can add it.
So
but
it
Yeah.
it's
wouldn't be
not
until
now.
our next meeting that
Yep.
we would put together that.
so even if it's the same issue, if the department is not on the agenda, we can't
Well-
put it on?
Well, it's not on the agenda for us to discuss what the Board of Health might do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we could discuss it, but it's in fantasy land because we don't have the authorization.
So hopefully we put the Board of Health on the
Yeah.
agenda at the next meeting so that we can have that discussion. Unless,
They're already all done with everything that they were gonna do with it, though. They've already done what they needed to do. at their meeting.
Okay, thank you all for coming out on this less than fun night. You guys safely home. And I know that your snow and ice, now, when we get to June, and we have snow and ice, okay? And everybody will say, there wasn't even a big snowstorm in December, and they're right. But our guys have been out hours and hours and hours, and, so just please understand.
Small storms are labor-intensive, long hours, and a lot of material and scraping the roads, which costs more than just having an 18-inch snowstorm and be done with it. So this is what we're dealing with right now, and they're working.
As treasurer for the Historical Society, I echo your
Yeah.
sentiment because it is hit after hit.
And they're long duration, small amount storms, but you gotta scrape, and salt, so,
Yeah,
And you probably noticed that we've got a little different mixture. We have more sand this year than we've had in the past, you know, trying very hard to, you know, be conservative and yet safe. And I think, of course, you expect the selectmen to say that, but I think that there's been real efforts to have the roads well maintained and well managed.
Everybody's doing a great job.
I do think so, and it's not easy because we're undermanned, as you know, down there, and so, we're just one more night, and then I think tomorrow night is another freezing rain event. So, I mean, it's every single day this week so far.
focus on 50 degrees on Friday.
yes,
I will focus
yes.
on hope for it.
Beach weather.
Okay, well, thank you for your time and attention, and we'll put that little group together, and I'm guessing that some of you are gonna get a call. Because you're not on a board.
We hope so.
Okay, yeah, I bet, I bet, Lynn. Liz, you're hopeful until that happens, right?
Yeah.
Because they're kind of long, okay,
Okay,
we good?
Yes.
Okay, moving on, let's take the minutes of December 15th, 2025.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes of Monday, December 15th, 2025.
I will second that motion.
Yes.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to
Aren't you
December.
guys staying for the party?
I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes of December 16th, 2025.
I'll second that. Those in favor?
Aye.
Moving
Pass
on.
over the special town meeting
Yeah, and then
minutes.
the special town meeting.
Do you need a
minutes.
motion or no?
No, pass over those,
Okay.
please.
Okay,
We do have the special town meeting minutes on the 16th.
no one's asked that we pass over
Yeah,
them.
can you pass over those?
Which one, the pre-discussion or this? That's the one that we usually have, the pre-discussion we can vote, but is the special town meeting,
The pre-discussion one is fine.
yeah, it's the
We
one
did
that
vote
the
that,
town
yeah.
clerk will usually authorize this December 16th. And town administrator update,
So I'm not gonna read this whole thing, because I'm already losing my voice. So you're just gonna have to read it, but the one thing I do wanna say, I want to apologize to Corey Bonbrady, I don't know what camera I'm on. Last meeting, I had stated that the purchase of the truck for the DPW superintendent out of general stabilization funds would reduce that fund by 0.44%. That was a misstatement, as it would have reduced the stabilization funds as a percentage of our budget by that amount. The fund itself was reduced by 8.62%. So I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions from anything in here, just let me know, but I don't have it in me to read it out.
okay, Richard.
I think it's well done. I don't have any questions.
Hearing none, let's move on to correspondence, specifically from the Insight Meditation Center, societies and so forth. I would just read into the record that the dear friends and neighbors from Insight Meditation, as the year draws to a close, we are pleased to present to the town of Barre donations in the amount of $30,500 for the year 2025. These gifts are from the Insight Meditation Center, the Barre Center for Buddhist Studies, and the Dhamma Bira Foundation. While we recognize our nonprofit status exempts us from paying local taxes, we are happy and fortunate to be able to offer these voluntary annual contributions. We are profoundly grateful for the town's services and the warm and positive sentiments that have always characterized our relationship with the folks here in the community. Our donation are an expression of our wish to give back to the town with gratitude. Next year marks the 50th anniversary of the Insight Meditation Society, 50 wonderful years in Barre. We care deeply about the town, and our three organizations have worked hard to support our neighbors in the ways that we are able. Many of our employees live in town, and we make a conscious effort to use local businesses and tradespeople whenever possible. We care deeply about the well-being of our shared community. Thank you for the work you do to sustain the town, and for all the town does to support and sustain all of us. Please consider us partners. If there's anything we can do to better support you, please let us know. So that's the Insight Meditation.
Good community partners.
Moving on, Quabbin East Land Trust, on behalf of the Board of Directors, please find an enclosed one-time contribution of $300 to the town of Barre in appreciation for the town's commitment to open space conservation. The East Quabbin Land Trust works to foster the natural systems to sustain the life, health, and happiness of those living in shared communities. Countless hours of staff and volunteer time are donated to our communities each year as we work toward this goal. The East Quabbin Land Trust work collaborates with and enhances local and state government and policies to provide access to open space so that everyone can reap the physical and spiritual benefits of contact with nature. Provide and maintain accessible trails and continue to expand those offerings. Many educational programs each year for all ages on many different topics. Preserves farmland and makes land affordable for farmers who cannot afford to purchase land at market price. Provide micro grants to local farmers in support of their agricultural business. Facilitates landowner conservation goals through the gift of its expertise. Protects natural and cultural history. Brings federal, state, foundation, and private money into our communities. EQLT's preserved land offers climate resilience by preserving the mature forests that cool in air and sequester carbon and reduce wildlife risk. The
Wildfire risk.
wildfire, sorry. And like younger non-cultured plantings. Promotes ecotourism. Tourism, I'm sorry, not terrorism. Losing it. The volunteers and staff of East Quabbin Land Trust look forward to many years of working together with the town of Barre. We thank the Quabbin East Land Trust for the check of $300.
We thank them for that.
Yeah. So we are in receipt of $30,000+ from the Insight Meditation Center, and for $300 from East Quabbin Land Trust. New business, moving on. Hardwick ambulance contribution.
Can we pass over that because we didn't have our meeting? I believe is it next week?
I think.
I don't even remember what today's date is.
Okay, fire surplus disposal?
Oh, so Chief DiVirgilio had submitted 3 different
Items.
pages of items to dispose of.
It's like 3 saws. Engine 5, the 1990 BESS, and the 213 Ford Expedition, which was the former chief vehicle.
And so he would like permission from the board to dispose of that equipment, is that correct?
Yes, probably likely by a municipal bid, I would think.
Okay.
Make a motion that we authorize the fire chief to dispose of the 3 saws as he is listed on the form, the 1990 PS dash fire engine, and the 2013 Ford Expedition.
I would second that motion. Further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have open meeting law complaint result. Melanie, do you want to walk us through that?
Yes, very briefly I will. So there was one that was placed by Corey Von Brady on August 8th. And we had town council respond to it on August 27th. Meeting was not sufficiently specific, and the board deliberated about a contract outside of a posted meeting. The state found that the board did not violate the open meeting law. And that they say we have consistently explained that it is reasonably foreseeable that a public body may take action and hold the vote following discussion of a topic listed on a meeting notice. The open meeting law does not require that the notice separately indicate the possibility of a vote, which I think is very important here. And also that emails sent by staff to the board do not qualify as deliberation, even if they are sent to a quorum or more members of the board. As you well know, when there's things that I want you to review, I email it to you.
Right.
That does not mean that you're in deliberation. It means that you are separately reviewing it, and then you can separately talk to me about it. I haven't had to do it here in the past, and in other towns, I've had to remind people, do not reply all to this email, only reply to me, to avoid that. So I do want to point out that this open meeting law violation that was unfounded cost approximately $1,568 to answer. So it's a shame.
That's only one of many.
That's only one of,
I appreciate
that's
as-
only one of many,
Yeah, as a citizen, you assigning what the dollar value
yes.
to the town of these complaints are.
Yep, and I will continue to do that, breaking things down.
Right.
And just for the record, it was, the complaint was against the Barre DPW Commission and the Board of Selectboard.
Thank you.
Melanie, this is a little bit off center. Have any of the complaints been founded to be accurate?
I would have to look back, this is the only result that I
Okay,
personally
all right.
have received, but I can look back at them and find out.
There were some that the AG's office asked us to clarify further, and we spent, you know, a lot of time
Right.
going
okay.
through old meeting minutes and so forth. And it appears that we've kind of gone over the hump. We were getting very few requests
Yes,
for
yeah,
things at this time, so
Yeah.
no matter what individual seeks information, we have an obligation
Yeah.
to pursue and go through everything, even when they are unfounded. If they are found in some sort of situation where we have to go back and, for example, check and say who was interviewed at that time, if we didn't use the name, and it was just saying, you know, candidate number one and that kind of stuff, and so provide those names later on, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And, but not anything of consequence of it, took hours of time to do. Floyd?
Yeah, I'd just like to add too, that considering how online people and their personalities are, and an online setting like Facebook could possibly constitute as an open meeting violation if individuals are talking back and forth about a certain issue. And not that it's an excuse, but, I mean, perfection is the goal that is, you know, rarely attained. And I think to some of this, we're all people, we're not professionals in any of our positions, we're doing the best we can. And understanding and leniency is, you know, certainly desired, but court cases, a lot of these nowadays, I mean, you gotta pay to attend. Is there any way that we can try to recoup some of these losses from these, I mean, is there clerical fees we could apply?
probably not, because we're the ones choosing to use
Okay.
the town council to answer them.
Is it possible we go through the state AG or some other organization that wouldn't cost us money, that should be there to assist us in these matters?
Well, now that I'm here, I can look at a lot of them myself as well. A lot of these were in transition that had happened or prior to. I will say that our legal line is extremely large. So when I present the select board's budget, the legal line is going to be broken down
Yeah.
so that you'll see what we spent on public records request, open meeting law
Great.
violations. All of it's going to be broken down because it's extensive.
Yeah.
And I'm quite appalled at it.
One other
But
thing for organization I could add, would it be possible and would it make sense to provide separate email addresses for members of boards, committees? Because if somebody is using their personal email or their business email address and a freedom of information request comes in, you know, how much privacy is divulged if they're using their email? And it might be organized for the town to provide email addresses that aren't name-oriented.
so two things. One, we only have so many email licenses available,
Okay.
and then we'd have to shell out, I don't know how much more money to get more. And two, what I've done in the past when we had a public records request, because before I even started, I had emailed with Maureen with my personal email. So I just asked her, can you send me the emails? I printed them out and made them part of the packet. So if I needed to, I imagine if it came down to it, I could redact somebody's name if there was a reason to. But that's how I handle the personal emails. I just ask the person to email me what they have from their personal email. I print them out and PDF them and send them off.
Right. Yeah, I was
So-
wondering if having an official email would not put that burden on
If
the
we had,
individual
if we
site.
had a ton of money, then yes, we
Mhm.
could buy licenses for everybody.
So
but-
what's the problem?
The money,
Just kidding.
money,
I
yeah.
know.
Money.
Follow the dollar.
I had conversation with the organization regarding public records requests, and they did mention there were certain methods where the person who would ask for a public records request would be charged a certain amount per hour to respond, to be responsive, and that wouldn't come out of our budget.
So I don't know if you recall, a couple of months ago, we actually applied to the state, the keeper of, I don't know who the keeper of records are or whoever, to be able to charge somebody who had years of emails that they wanted, and we actually were able to charge them over $15,000. So they just dropped it. They decided that they did not want to pay that money. So it really depends, is it even worth it to charge somebody? Because it would take more of my time to charge somebody than it would to just provide the document sometimes. But in cases like that, when it's really large, yes, we can apply to the state to charge them more than what we would, because I think it's like $25 an hour or something like that, which is less than I make an hour, so.
I was informed that we could charge them $70, $80, $90.
No, there's different, I can't remember off the top of my head, Sam, but there's of course a law to it, so, yeah.
But also too, I mean, if somebody has a legitimate request,
Yes,
they shouldn't be used to stifle a legitimate request, but,
yes.
you know, it should at least be a break even, that if somebody needs to put time into it, it shouldn't be at the expense of the town.
Yeah, and some of them are very quick, so it's pointless to charge somebody if it's gonna take me 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to do something, there's no point in charging somebody, so. It's the very cumbersome requests that are the ones that you wanna look at charging people.
But those charges are
Ready to move on?
considered as we go forward.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, notice of bridge hearing.
Which I thought I had the email, but I guess I didn't. So there's gonna be a bridge hearing for Cold Brook Bridge on February 12th at 6:30, and it will be advertised as well, but I just wanted to make sure
Will it
that.
be on site?
It's gonna be right here, yes. They came and looked at the room, so they're gonna actually have
What was the date, please?
February 12th at 6:30.
Is that a public hearing that we need to vote, or is this a public hearing that the state is holding?
They're holding it.
Okay, so we're just
Yeah.
giving you information.
Yeah.
Okay. Vote to hold the annual town meeting on Tuesday, the 19th of May, 2026, at 6:30 PM.
Make a motion that we hold the annual town meeting on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026 at 6:30 PM. And do we have to be site-specific with that, or no?
I don't believe so.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
It's always Ruggles, but we have been in Quabbin at different times.
Yeah. Well, we usually make that decision with the moderator based upon heat or something if we're trying to get into an air-conditioned place. So we have a motion. I would second the motion to hold the annual town meeting on Tuesday, May 19th, which is approximately a month earlier than we usually do. And we need to vote to change that date, so those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
So at that time, we can bring our sweaters instead of the air conditioning.
Well, I
Yes.
doubt it, May 19th.
It should be nice weather, May 19th. We'll be fine.
A vote to open the annual town meeting warrant on January 5, that's tonight. And obviously, that gives the public an opportunity to begin to think about what we will be discussing on May 19th. That does not impact, for example, the budgets that will be presented. Those are being worked on currently by the Budget and Finance Committee and the Town Administrator and Select Board. So those numbers will be under discussion during the next several months. And obviously, the actual budget probably won't be on paper until, would you say, maybe a month before the town meeting, or maybe closer?
It'll be a work in progress as we go, because I have a
Yeah.
completely different budget document than what everybody's used to, so.
Okay, sounds good. And so technically, if there's a specific warrant article that a group and/or an entity wants to bring forward, they would need to do so within the time frame that's allotted here for the warrant that is open February 9. Do you feel February 9 is a reasonable time? That gives up only a
I think
month?
so, it gives people a month to
Okay.
submit
But
any
if something
articles.
comes up in between, obviously 10 signatures can bring it to the select board for us to consider
Mhm.
its add-on. Okay.
Mhm.
Just so people will know that. I believe that the Quabbin Regional, I don't know if we're gonna deal with that at the special, which is their new regional agreement.
So, yes, so I'm waiting for the red line to that. Jessica's gonna email it to me today so that you guys can actually see what the changes were.
And I don't know if that has to be approved at the annual, it might
I
say-
believe it has to
At the annual?
be, I don't think it has to be the annual.
Okay, we should just check that.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
it may
will
have
check
to be at
that.
the annual.
I move to open the annual town meeting warrant as of January 5th tonight, 2026.
We second that motion, those in favor?
Aye.
Vote to close the annual town meeting warrant on February 9.
I move to close the annual town meeting warrant on February 9th, 2026 at 9 a.m.
Second that motion, those in favor?
Aye.
Please understand that should there be an issue of concern, either by the board or by individuals brought to our attention, that the vote to close the annual town meeting warrant could be changed.
Absolutely.
In other words, so if somebody had something that came up and it was just really very important, the board would make efforts to include citizen petitions if appropriate.
And I just wanna point out, I just chose February 9th because I don't want it to just
Right.
remain open forever,
Exactly.
so that I can get the warrant done,
Yeah.
so, that's it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Of course, you have to understand that trying to put the charge of trying to get the town meeting warrant and a town meeting, everything done by May, okay, is just really entertaining, because remember, the Senate hasn't even dealt with their budget. The Senate will not have any new numbers for us until probably maybe into July,
Wow.
by the time they get a conference committee. So that's why we're sort of, we'll be hoping that we can take some of the information that we have from the House budget, which will come out in April, and then something from in May, which comes out in the Senate budget, and hopeful that we can see, okay, conference committee, the conference committee probably won't even be established until after our meeting, I would suspect. So that could be entertaining. Anyway, I always find this time of year, because all of the things they ask us to do, they don't adhere to any of the framework. They used to have cherry sheets out to us that was somewhat accurate in March. But those are days gone by, I'm afraid. Anyway, so I don't envy your work here, Melanie, and I thank you for.
I enjoy it, it's all good.
Okay, I'm worried about you then. Okay, moving on. Annual license renewals, we need a vote for a common victualler license for the Commonplace Market LLC and for J&J Family Restaurant.
I move to approve common victual licenses for the Commonplace Market LLC and JJ Family Restaurant LLC.
I will second that motion. We have further discussion. Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we've already taken care of the senior center issues, and we're moving now on to appointments. Planning board has forwarded us a request to appoint Mary Ann Gendron, administrative assistant, effective,
January 19th.
yeah, okay.
So they had done one appointment, but obviously she couldn't start January 1st because of her cooling off period.
Okay, so the
So-
letter is, it should be changed to January 19th.
It's down at the second paragraph, it's January 19th.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, instead of doing a new letter, they just amended this
Okay,
one.
sounds good. So we are appointing Mary Ann Gendron to the administrative positions of the Conservation Commission and also the Planning Board for starting January 19th, 2026.
Same rate of pay, so you want, I can do it all in one motion if you like, or do it separate.
I'd do it all in one motion if you
Okay,
could.
I make a motion that we appoint Mary Ann Gendron to the planning board administrative assistant and the conservation commission administrative assistant, whatever that role is, effective January 19th, 2026, at the current rate of pay of $24.73 per hour.
I second that motion. Further conversation? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving, the request to use town property for the indivisible group. Would like to have a meeting on Saturday, January 31st from 2 to 4 p.m. Snow date Saturday, February 7th. And they would be just using the town property for meeting purposes? Okay.
Town hall, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Town hall.
Yep. I make a motion that we approve Indivisible Barre to use the town hall facility on Saturday, January 31st, from 2 to 4 p.m., and a snow date on Saturday, February 7th, 2026. Same time, right? Same time, from 2 to 4? Okay.
We have a request to use the town property at the town hall by Indivisible on January 31st, and snow date February 7th, between the hours of 2 and 4 p.m. I have a motion made and seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Personnel, wage authorizations. Dave Moore.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Sorry it was such a long wait.
When I say, sorry you sat through the whole meeting for that.
I'm
Wish-
a former town employee, it's
Oh,
good to see
okay, it's
government attention.
He was a great town employee.
We have,
Thought I was.
You were.
Paul,
And Paul, Conservation Commission for many years.
put him on that,
Many years, Paul,
put
right?
him on that committee.
He can sign up. We'd be more than happy to have him.
okay, we have wage authorizations from the fire department for Dave Moran, probationary, for full-time, is that a full-time medic? It says F.
It says
Oh,
probationary firefighter medic.
Firefighter medic.
Okay, firefighter medic, and it's
Yeah.
probationary. And that would be at a rate of $26.78, and the proposed hourly rate at $30.
Question,
Pardon me?
was that the individual that owed us money for his paramedic school?
I don't remember.
I believe it is. Was that ever cleared up?
I don't think that's of consequence, and I think the only thing that we're
Well, we're
talking.
rehiring him. Well, I mean, we're changing wages, so,
No, I.
No, he
no.
left. The guy, we billed that guy.
okay,
Yeah, this
Just
is,
wanna make
this
sure.
this must not be the same guy,
okay,
because he
Thank you.
left. That's why he owed us back.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the wage authorization for Mr. David Moran, probationary firefighter medic, a rate of $30 an hour, call per diem.
I would second that motion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving forward here, we have a treasurer collector. This is a annual contract.
Nope, nope, it's not.
This is for, okay.
This is
added
a-
duties?
A wage increase for the assistant treasurer collector, Kristen Thacker, because she's taking on, the duties of the assistant treasurer who retired.
Okay. Oh, that's right, that happened, didn't it, already? June?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
So we have a present hourly salary, and the proposed hourly salary is $28 an hour, from $24 to $28 an hour.
I approve I make a motion that we approve the wage increase from $24 to $28 for Kristen Thacker, new position, assistant treasurer collector.
We have a motion made and second, I have a second, for 32 hours a week at that rate. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, old business, complete updates to fringe benefits section on our personnel policy.
So I don't know if you want to wait for Mark for this one. I was talking to my husband about this, and he reminded me that the state will pay you out 20% of what sick time you have. So if we wanted to look at a percentage
Mhm.
for paying people out instead, so I just did a quick, I'm so sorry. Did a quick calculation because we allow 600 hours to roll over. So for the new people after December 1st of 2025, say somebody got paid $30 an hour, they had 600, that would be $18,000, but at 20%, it would be $3,600, at 10%, $1,800, at 5%, $900.
Mhm.
So I actually propose that we look at paying somebody out a percentage
Yeah.
of what they were getting. But I
And
think
this would be
that,
for new employees
for,
effective-
after 12/1/2025,
Okay.
yes, everybody else would still be the 480 hours. So I don't know if you wanna wait for Mark to have a discussion as to a percentage, but I mean, how do you feel about the percentage route?
I think the percentage makes
Yeah.
I think it's very reasonable.
a lot of sense.
Okay, all right, so we'll table that until Mark is here.
I think it's very reasonable myself.
We'll take no action and pass over this particular item on the agenda. Are we okay with that?
Yep,
Richard?
yep, so Max,
We'll pass over it until our final member can be available because he's working tonight. Okay.
The only other thing, the health insurance opt-out, you had asked me to bring it to the unions, which I emailed it to them. I believe I only heard back from James, who's gonna be looking at it. The union will be looking at it. I haven't heard back from the Teamsters or the police about it yet. So I don't know, again, wait till Mark's here the next meeting, but can we, in the meantime, make it for union employees?
Yeah, you could for non-union employees,
Okay,
but we.
and then when the union employees, if they wanna join on,
The only
okay.
thing, that's difficult is
Yeah,
that, waiting for the individual, I mean, because if what the union employees get is significantly better than other folks who just don't have access to a union, I think we wanna have a conversation
Yeah.
about that.
but considering nobody has anything right now,
Right.
hopefully they're
and
not,
this doesn't,
hopefully none of the unions will have an issue with what we wanna do.
and I did,
Thank you.
if we vote this for non-union, that doesn't open contracts up and doesn't trigger that,
No,
No,
okay.
we will have, the DPW group, let me know that, their union, person who represents them will be in touch with the board.
oh, I've already been in touch with them.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know about the police, sometimes they need encouragement to get the,
I believe Chief Saborin also said that, so I need to reach out to
Okay.
them.
So should we vote on the non?
Wait till Mark's
Yeah.
here,
Okay.
just to make it, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather have a full board with it.
Okay.
yeah, pass them on. Okay, I think we've done changed all the business that was, on the agenda.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So, that motion, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it looks like we can go enjoy the snow.